Hunger and poverty. The winner was announced at the Norwegian Nobel Institute in Oslo. The WFP initiative was established in 1961 and today provides food to over 90 million people a year.
The World Food Programme is the world's largest humanitarian organization addressing hunger and promoting food security. Last year, the WFP provided assistance to close to 1 million people in 88 countries who are victims of acute food insecurity and hunger. In 2015, eradicating hunger was adopted as one of UN's Sustainable Development Goals. The WFP is the UN's primary instrument for realizing this goal.
Well, for more on this story, I'm joined in studio by our foreign editor, Sophie Mokoena. Thank you very much for joining us, Sophie. So why has the food program won? And I was quite surprised to realize that an organization can win this prize.
Well, you know that the World Food Programme has been working very hard to provide food in areas where there are conflicts. When you look at countries such as Yemen, the Democratic Republic of Congo, the northern part of Nigeria, the border with Niger, countries such as South Sudan and Burkina Faso, where we have experienced conflict. That's where you find people leaving their places. And the issue of poverty and hunger is key, and they are really suffering. Therefore, the United Nations, with its agency, WFP, has worked very hard to provide food for those people who have suffered a lot. But also when you look at what transpired in the SADC region, particularly during the cyclone Ida, you remember very well that World Food Programme director even visited Mozambique to come and look at the situation there, and they were able to assist areas that were affected. But also countries such as Zimbabwe, they have issued many reports about hunger and poverty in Zimbabwe and also called on international community to assist. Therefore, I think today the Secretary General of the United Nations will be a happy man, Antonio Guterres, that this agency has been able to do good work. But when you look particularly during this time of the pandemic, the World Food Programme has also availed its flight to transport the PPE, the very same PPE that we are talking about, where in some countries, some people saw it fit to practice corruption and also use that opportunity to enrich themselves and their friends. But we know that the World Health Organization's Director General has indicated that those people who have abused the pandemic to enrich themselves are just as well as people who have committed murder. But some are saying genocide.
Now, of course, the World Health Organization was also in the running. I mean, we're not fighting a physical war, but I guess we're fighting a war against the COVID pandemic. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, yes, the WHO was also nominated, but I guess finally World Food Programme has won the award. And I think the WHO is also a United Nations agency, and therefore I think they will be happy because the World Food Programme did assist the WHO to transport necessary materials to countries where there were fears that they will be having challenges of capacity. And I think the two institutions, it was indeed good to see the two institutions being the front runners, but finally the World Food Programme winning this one. I guess the WHO, there's still a chance next year because you are aware that until such time we have a vaccine, the issue of COVID-19 will continue to be with us. You heard earlier on the Premier of Gauteng talking about a request to the Minister of Health, Zweli Mkhize, that he must assist to capacitate the Gauteng province because of the suspensions within the administration there in the Department of Health. Because when you look at what transpired last night in terms of the reports and the information released on infections and people who have passed on, it looks like Gauteng is having serious challenges. And not only Gauteng, Free State, we saw the numbers of people who have died, the Northern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal as well. And we have been warned that as long as there is no vaccine, there's no way you will deal with COVID-19 or coronavirus. You will continuously have a situation where you have a break, you are able to manage the spreading of the virus, but it will come back. And therefore, we might have a second wave. You look at Europe, you look at the United States of America, they have gone back to lockdown, they have gone back to stringent measures to try and fight COVID-19 because they have again experienced a wave of the surge of this COVID-19. It is summer for us, it's well and good, but remember, we've opened our skies, we've opened our borders, we've now at level 1, and therefore interaction is more vigorous and people are back at work, and therefore the infections are going to continue. And unfortunately, we see a situation where some of our fellow Africans, our fellow South Africans and fellow global citizens who are not complying with the protocols of the WHO on COVID-19, wearing of masks, social distance, washing of hands, and only these 3 regulations or measures or rules can assist us to manage the disease. And these ones can be implemented by us, not government. It is up to us, and therefore we must all be responsible and at all times remember that it can be me today, it will be you tomorrow.
Yeah. Sophie, you touched on the Gauteng Premier's decision to fire Bandile Masuku. It is refreshing to be in a democracy where if somebody's found to have done something bad, they're dealt with accordingly, not because they're friends or, chomies, if I can say that. Do you think that the Premier made the right decision? And equally, do you think he's right to open the door, to leave the door open for Bandile Masuku if it's found that indeed he wasn't involved in corruption?
There's always a moment for people to find their Damascus moment, and I think a decision by the Premier to act on a portion of the report, taking action now in terms of the failure by the MEC to do what he was supposed to do as the political head, it is a good move, but also to think broadly ahead, because he did a sterling job. Let us be honest, he inherited a crisis, a disaster. That department was a disaster. He did a sterling job as a person who's familiar with health issues, and therefore wait for the main issue. South Africans wants to know, did Bandile Masuku deliberately did something that in turn was going to benefit him and his family? That's all what South Africans are interested in. Now we find a situation where the SIU is still working on that report, and therefore I think as South Africans, let us be patient. We have seen that the Premier mean business. I think gone are the days where people were evoking political expediencies, using political expediencies and reasons to say no, it's because I'm politically targeted, it's a politically motivated issue. Gone are those days of 2008 where people were always evoking political issues in terms of when they are supposed to take accountability. They must take accountability if they've chosen to be leaders.
Thank you, Sophie, for those insights. My colleague there, Sophie Mokoena, she's the foreign editor here at SABC.